one of the most dearest friends of mine. Thank you, John Doe. Excuse me, I am fighting a little chest cold here. But yeah, if they just, did that. If Jane just went, thank you, John Doe. I appreciate you. You mean something to society. You are a good person. You'll make a difference in this world. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to change the names because, well, that's what we need to do around here. I've got a friend, and he is, well, let's just say he's a lot better now. A lot better. He suffered from depression. He didn't know it. He did drugs, and he was a severe alcoholic. Now, we're going to call my friend Frank. When I first met Frank, I saw potential in Frank. I knew Frank could be a better person. One, he had to get off the drugs. Two, he had to get help for his depression. And three, he had to get off the alcohol. So, me, being someone that suffers from depression, and being someone that doesn't like drugs nor alcohol, I befriended Frank against everybody's wishes. And the reason why I did that is because I could see that Frank was hurting. I could see the pain in Frank. And people are like, oh, well, he's doing that just to get attention. No, he wasn't. Frank was really hurting. Well, I wouldn't go around Frank when he was on, smoking his weed, or I guess that's what you call it, or pot, or whatever it's called. And finally, I got Frank to go into rehab. And I am happy to say that Frank has not touched weed, pot, whatever you call it. Like I said, I don't do drugs, so I wouldn't know what it's called. For over 3 years now. So I guess you say he's been sober for 3 years? Well, that's when his depression really started showing up. And I'm talking to Frank, and I'm saying, hey, Frank, man, I love you like a sister. And you are very special. And you are decent. You are kind. Look what you have done. For 3 years, you have been clean for 3 years. And that is saying something. Not everyone can do that, Frank. I am proud of you. Look at you go. You keep up that good work. But now it's time to get your depression under control. Well, Frank says he didn't have a depression problem. I said, okay. He says, but I do have a drinking problem, Angela. I mean, Stardust. I said, you do? I said, okay. Yeah, he calls me Angela sometimes. Go figure. He says that because I'm like the angel that saved him from himself. Anyway, I said, well then let's get you in rehab. And let's get you free of this alcohol. Well, now Frank has been alcohol free for 2 years, which means he has been drug free for 5 years. And just this year, Frank comes to me and he said, you know what, Angela? I mean, Stardust? And I'm like, would you stop calling me that, boy? And I was like, what's that, Frank? He goes, you're right. I'm like, I'm right. What am I right about? He goes, I suffer from depression. I said, you do? He goes, yes, I do. And I need help. I'm like, well, Frank, I've always been there for you. And I am one of your biggest supporters. I said, you can do anything you set your mind to. Look what you have done with your life. You are no longer on drugs. You are a recovering alcoholic. Because, once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. I said, you have eliminated those friends that, cause you to become weak, or however you put it. I said, and now look at you. You have a great job. And we won't say where he works at, but he really does have a great job. And I said, let's get you the help you need. He said, would you go with me? I said, Frank, I will go to every appointment with you, as long as it doesn't interfere with mine. He's like, Stardust, thank you. He's like, I've never had a friend that cared for me. I'm like, I will always be here for you because you are special. You deserve happiness. You are loved. You are appreciated. And you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Now, Frank, he started this year, so he's been in, therapy for about 6 months. And, well, Rome wasn't built in a day, but he's doing really well. And the last time I spoke to him, which was about a few days ago, he told me, he said, Stardust, thank you. And I said, for what, Frank? He goes, from the beginning, when I saw nothing in me, you saw everything. He goes, when I felt helpless, you saw a strong person. When I felt like I was unloved, you knew I was loved. And when I thought I didn't have friends, you knew I had friend. I had you. He has, and even though you're married, I am grateful that God brought you into my life, because I was going down a path, stardust, that would have led me into a grave. He goes, thank you. And I said, no. All I did was point you in the way and showed you and supported you and been a friend. You took the steps. You did the hard parts. You made the initiative. And you conquered the demons. It is you who should be patting yourself on the back, not me. It is you that should be proud of yourself. Yes, I was here for you to support you as a friend, but you did it all. The point of that story is, I seen the signs, but I let Frank make his decisions, because he knew what he needed to work on first, so he could work on his depression. And the same goes for everybody else. I mean, everybody's different in this world. We have our own problems, and depression affects everyone differently. We don't know why it happens or how it happens. Some people develop depression because they were sexually abused as a child throughout their, from childhood through adulthood. Some people develop depression because they were beating, from childhood to, through adulthood. Some people develop a depression because they were abandoned as a child. Some people develop depression because they lost a loved one, a child. It's different for everybody. Not everyone's depression is the same, and not everyone's depression is severe. Some can be, treated with medication and be gone. I mean, well, not gone, but as long as they're on the medication, they're good. And then